Hull Kingston Rovers are the 2025 Betfred Super League champions. They've had one of the best Super League seasons since it's been rebranded as a Super League, winning the treble. They've won everything that's on offer. They've had a great season, but this win is not only a big occasion for them, but it's also a big moment in the history of the game in this country. For people that don't know, since it's been rebranded as a Super League, only 4 teams before last night had won it: Bradford, Leeds, St Helens and Wigan. And no team other than those 4 clubs had won the championship since Widnes did it in 1989. So people in the NRL complain about Melbourne or Penrith or the eastern suburbs being up the top of the table, winning all the premierships. Well, over here in England, before last night, only 4 teams had managed to win the championship in this country, which I think was a detriment to the league, because the Super League has a bit of a reputation of being a bit of a farmers league, as they say in football, and a lot of the clubs are just making up the numbers and it's not that competitive, and international audiences and even people in England see it as kind of a 2 or 3 horse race every year, and it leads to disinterest, it leads to boredom. But this result with Hull Kingston Rovers winning the championship is monumental, because it's broken that stranglehold that the big 3 or the big 4 have had on the competition for so long. And even though I'm a St Helens supporter, even sometimes I've sat back and I've gone, this competition needs new winners. It needs interest from outside, because even when I lived in Australia, some people went, what's the point of watching the Super League? Only Leeds, St Helens or Wigan or Bradford win the thing. So this is a massive moment. There's been other clubs that have come close in the past to breaking this big 3 or big 4 dominance, but have just fallen short. And it's crazy to think, just 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was the COVID affected season, Hull Kingston Rovers finished bottom of the table, but because of how things were, they weren't relegated. And 5 years prior to that, they were playing in championship. So in the last 4 or 5 years, they've built this team. I always considered Hull FC to be the bigger club in Hull Kingston Rovers for a long time, but I think the time to changing a little bit, even though I think the black and white side of Hull would hate me to say that. But this is, as I said, a monumentous result for British Rugby League, and who knows, there's been a couple of other clubs that have been banging on the door in the last couple of years. Leigh is another one that they've come close to making a grand final. Maybe in the future it might be their time to win the championship, but we'll just have to wait and see.